What is up, guys? Coop here, and today we're going to be looking at a preview of Nazimir. This was the area that was shown off in the Battle for Azeroth starting area for the Horde. Now keep in mind, this will not be the actual starting area for the expansion. This is just the zone that they wanted to show off first, which I found this zone to be way better between the Alliance and Horde. This zone is definitely the one that beat the one out of the two of them. So let's actually dive in. First off, the biggest thing that you notice is that big red moon. That is definitely a eye grabber. I found that one really interesting. Just overall, the aesthetic, the darker colors, the usage of blues and blacks just really goes well with everything else. Also, not to mention, if you look at the gear is really nice because it has this troll aesthetic. Like, look at that axe, that's awesome. All the different plate is sort of feathered and kind of has this Aztec-y feel. And it's kind of cool to see the sort of architecture of the trolls, because we really haven't gotten much architecture from trolls in a long while. Some may argue that Throne of Thunder actually showed architecture from the trolls, but keep in mind that was kind of a mixture, hybrid of Titan Facility mixed with Mogu mixed with Troll. So it was like not really fully their architecture, but it's kind of cool to see that. And I like how they went with a full Aztec kind of theme for them. But it's really cool to see that blood moon and all these different spirits and whatnot. So you see all these floating like skulls and like sort of helmets and whatnot. I think that's really cool. And as you can see, we have a actual troll race of the Zandalar. Zandalari are more of a straight back, sort of darker looking elves. Or not elves, but trolls. Now, it's really cool to actually look at them because they are very different from the trolls that we have. Our trolls are very slick skin. They have more of this like rough looking skin. So that's kind of cool to see how they actually made a vast difference between the two trolls, which is important because we're getting them as an allied race. So Horde are definitely going to like that. But in general, I really like the gear and whatnot, and I really like all the different things here. Now let's actually talk about the zone and what sort of problems the zone's going to be having, which is going to be showcased here. They're having a lot of problems with blood trolls. Now, why are they having problems with blood trolls, you might ask? As you can see, that's one right there. They're trying to transform you into one. But basically, the blood trolls are a specific following of elves. They're an ancient subspecies that inhabit the swamp of Nazimir. Or Nazimir, I don't know how it's pronounced, it's either Nazmar or Nazimir, but basically they were considered kind of the boogeymen, and they worship a blood god known as Gahun. Their culture is very harsh, very primitive, because their god has no need for technology, and their society is monarchistic. The males follow the orders from the females without questions, and they get chained up or punished or outright sacrificed. So very harsh overall, and I find it very cool to see how sort of the women are sort of in charge, which is kind of different, but the women are often considered to be witch doctors and that sort of thing, which is kind of cool. Now, what was really confusing was a lot of people were expecting the blood god to be Hakar, the blood loa, but it was not actually. The blood god is a totally different thing. Basically, the origin of him is that he was created by the Titans to solve problems posed by the old gods, and sort of experimented to see like if they could twist him in a way to help fight back. However, it's obvious that he got corrupted from the old gods and was locked away in the facility of the first raid, which is Old Deer, and with 3 seals, and over time only 1 seal remains. Now, as his prison has weakened, his corruption has kind of spread throughout the land, which is why there's like a blood moon and all these spirits and things going on, which is threatened all over Zandalar. He's wrestling for controls over the dead, over one of the first Loa, which will actually, I think we get to see him, if I'm not mistaken. He's very cool looking. I just gotta find him. But basically, there's another Loa here, and his name is Bosamdi, and Bosamdi is the Loa of Death. So there's like a kind of a giant war. So you're kind of helping out Bosamdi with taking back over control over Zandalar and having him be the aspect of death again, compared to these blood trolls that are constantly trying to take it over. So that's very important. Now, Gahun has been taking over all these different Loas and trying to make them join his side. So he's very corrupting. He's very dark. So as you can see here, we have our first sort of area, which again, look at this area. We have all these different wooden structures, and even though it's another troll area, they managed to make it unique for the blood trolls, which I found very interesting, and I thought that would be really challenging for them to do, but they still did it. They made it to where a whole subculture of trolls still managed to have their own flares and whatnot. Similar to like how in real life, you know, you have the English style and then you have the Chinese style, and they're totally different, yet we're the same race of human beings. I found that really interesting that they managed to still make it kind of vastly different. So that's very interesting to see there. Now, another fun fact about Nazimir is ever since the cataclysm has kind of happened, it's really flooded this area. It's completely flooded. It's starting to like really get run down and swampy looking. This actually used to be a very rich land, similar to how sort of the other areas of Zandalar look. So since it's been really damaged during the Sundering and now the Cataclysm, it's just kind of like this really bad swamp infested with these blood trolls. And as you can see here, we've got a bat here, which kind of shows that the bat Loa is being controlled. And also with the whole Sundering and Cataclysm, it's been breaking away the seals, which have been really hurting with the blood god. So I found that one very interesting. Now, if we actually jump in a little, I'm going to jump in a little bit farther, because we're obviously seeing some really cool stuff here. But as you can see here, there's lots of different quests and whatnot. There's sort of these weird, like, these creatures have to be old god related. Like, they are just creepy looking. They got teeth for mouths and all that. Like, look at that. Ugh. But yeah, that's just definitely something that I've noticed, is a lot of these creatures are twisted looking and they are pretty much fleshy, which kind of screams old god to me. So this is definitely going to be a creature of old god descent. And that's really cool. So we have these vastly different creatures that are kind of exciting to look at. Now if we actually dive in a little bit later, we can see that the Bat Loa, another really cool creature, it has a different bat model than what we're used to. So who knows, maybe Zandalari trolls will actually get different models for druids. It's a possibility. That'd be actually kind of cool. But as you can see here, he's just whacking away, slowly killing this thing, which I think is kind of cool, but I don't think we actually kill it, because I'm pretty sure it's in the raid, if I believe so. But nope. Yep. Let's see. He belonged to Doug. Yep. There we go. So we got this sort of leader guy that we're probably going to have to kill and stop. So we got a corrupted Loa that we're trying to stop here. And then obviously we're starting to finish up the area. You got your first Horde guy that you can talk to here. So anyway, in general though, I find this zone very impressive. Compared to the other zone of Drusvar, it is vastly better. This zone is rememberable just from the sort of look of it. The quests are very engaging. There's different Loas, different creatures, different things that you're helping out with that are very awesome, different models. The overall aesthetic is nice. It has, as you can tell, I'm able to talk about all the different sort of lore and stuff that this area has. And then, like, look, as you can see here, we're walking into yet another environment that's vastly different. That's really cool overall. And I think that's important to keep in mind, that this zone is rememberable. And honestly, the story is already engaging. Like, even if it has like a bad payoff, it'd still be pretty solid. And that's why I'm going to give this zone at least a 7 or 8 out of 10. Now keep in mind, I can't give it a perfect 10. It's just not possible. And I can't give it a 9 out of 10. This is just a bite-sized chunk. But does this get me interested in playing as a Horde player? Yes, this keeps me interested. This is enough to where it piques my interest. Now, it's not a Broken Shore. A Broken Shore would definitely be a 9 out of 10. Just because it had like a lot of action, a lot of key characters, a lot of different things going on. this zone is not that. This zone is a little bit smaller of a bite-sized area, which still, nonetheless, a 7 out of 10 is really not bad. There's a lot of other zones, especially like I would consider High Mountain like a 5 out of 10 in today's standards, because this zone is actually rememberable. It's fun, it's engaging, and it does have some boring grinding parts. There's no lying about that, but I think a 7 out of 10 is a perfectly reasonable rating to give this. Anyways, though, in the comments below, tell me what you guys think. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for future videos, and I will see you guys in the future.